Okay,
All right.
here we are. Welcome. This is the BTS Creative Academy podcast. We're here at the Romford Film Festival. Ramin,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you so
What
much.
brings you to the film festival?
Well, I was already in London attending another film festival where my film was showing, so it was at the perfect time to come here and
To come and
check
join.
out the
And tell me
festival.
about your film.
So the film is the very first Finnish Iranian action movie that was shot in Iran and Finland. So full-on action, I would
And
say.
so you're an actor,
Yes.
yes, and a filmmaker as well?
Yes, I would say that I'm the director and actor of the film. I wasn't supposed to originally direct the film, but the circumstances brought me to the place where I had to jump in behind the camera and direct this film. So I would say director, actor.
Director,
Yeah,
actor.
yeah.
It's an interesting place to be. I've found myself there as well at
Nice.
times, being an
Yeah.
actor, and I'm a
And a
director
yes.
as well. But directing yourself can be quite a challenge, as directing the rest of the cast and the production as well, can't it?
Absolutely. And then it becomes very crucial about your crew. Who are you working with? Who do you trust to know what are you looking for? So then I can focus on my acting part, knowing that I'm getting everything behind the camera that I need. And with others, it was a lot easier because, of course, you're behind the camera and you can direct as you go. But ultimately, it comes to if you know your craft and you have persons that you can trust in your crew, you can do it. But it's a very complicated process.
And it can be quite hard to find people you
Yeah.
trust or people that can work in kind of synergy with you and your vision, especially when there's a part of the job that you should be doing that you've taken away to do another part
Yeah,
of the job.
yeah.
So how do you find people that you trust?
So basically, it happens very early stage because as we go forward towards the film, when let's say I'm picking a cinematographer for my film, so in the early phases when we start designing the lighting, the mood, all the mood boards and everything. So when he gives those ideas to me as the director, if I don't need to fix a lot, we are going to the similar path. But if in the beginning there's already this like, no, this is what I want, and then they come with something else, and then you say, no, but this, you should know by then that when it comes time to make those hard decisions, it's going to be a battle. But in the early phase, when you can feel the energy, you can feel the how similar
If there's
visually.
if there's friction or if
Yes,
there's a
yes.
pulling together
Yes.
of ideas.
The fiction should be coming on set, not before set, if it makes sense. Because on set, you want the best out of that moment. And then you can challenge and think and do it this way or that way. But in terms of before actually getting on set, you need people that are there to support your vision. And you find them by seeing that there's not so much friction before the actual shooting. So that's how I kind of find the crew I want to work with. And I kind of sense it and feel it because it's a tricky business we are in.
It is,
because
yes.
there's so much people that want to do this but necessarily haven't done it. So in a way, it's the producers, directors' responsibility to actually find those connections and people who share the similar. They don't have to be same, but similar kind of a vision.
It sounds to me like you need to find people that are not so much ego driven and that are open to doing something for others.
Yeah, and I would test that ego theory right away. Because a lot of the filmmakers, when they get together, the egos start to come when it's already too late. You're already on set. You have to deal with it. There's no more wiggle room. But if you, just like what I kind of did, deliberately say like, no, I don't want that, and see the response, just to see how is the response. Is it warming? Is it the ego? What is it? And then you know, will I have problems with this guy in the future, or will it go very smoothly? So I feel like just being bold before getting on set will save you so much time while you're actually doing the project.
And at what point did you think I'm going to be acting and directing in this?
So first, because I was graduated from Stella Adler a prestige acting school in Hollywood, I really wanted to act. That was my main goal. But the more I pushed to get this role for myself to produce this film, the more I realized that I have a vision that I don't think anybody else could bring it to life but myself. So I took the risk to start doing short films after short films and sending to festivals and winning festivals and building up my confidence to actually go and direct the film. So I just had that vision in my head, which just pushed me to actually direct it myself.
Tell me a little bit more about that vision.
So the vision is that you see the picture before anybody else see it. So when I was making Layers of Lies, I didn't know how to direct it. This was my first feature film. It was very like, I just went with my gut, and my gut was the feeling that I get watching my film. It kind of, I would say maybe it's kind of a like manifesting the picture before the picture. And if you feel like I was having goosebumps before even making the film because I felt the film. And once your mind is aligned with your vision, your body will follow. You will go towards that vision you had. But finding that vision might be a little bit tricky, but it will take time. And with time comes confidence, and then your vision gets more bolder and bolder. And it gets to the point that you kind of, how would I say, like I had never thought that my first film, for example, would get 50 awards internationally. That's like crazy for me. But the crazier part is that I already saw that like 10 years ago when I started visioning. How would it feel to have him? Not want. Everybody wants so much stuff about this world.
Yeah.
But I start feeling like, how does it feel to go to these festivals? How does it feel to come to Rumford here? Like all of those had already happened, and it was just matter of time for me to go towards that path. But I would say visualization, imagination, all of those helps build. Then you go just towards it, and you don't necessarily need to know how. Like a lot of the time, filmmakers, they necessarily don't know, but once they are in that situation, you have to trust the process. It's just, it will come. And even if it doesn't come in the first film, first short film or whatever, eventually it will come because you have already visioned it. So I would say my vision is the manifestation of something that I don't have in that moment, but I get the feeling in that moment. And then later, when I get to that feeling, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, it kind of works.
And there's something in that you said about that you really felt it.
Yeah,
You felt it before it happened.
yeah.
You felt those goosebumps when you started to have the idea. As a director myself, I've had that when I've read the script and then I've started to, I can see it before it's happening, but I can also feel it. And there's definitely something in that, isn't there?
Absolutely.
That is almost like beyond words.
Absolutely. It's basically like if you put the film sighting a little bit aside, like if you go tonight and sleep and you start feeling, let's say, for example, this is silly, banana. You start feeling, how would it feel if I start seeing bananas? Like the feeling of seeing banana. Suddenly, I don't know how, but suddenly you start seeing bananas everywhere. And it's because your imagination, your manifestation, the feeling you get, it will eventually come to you. The whole system will program itself for you to experience that exact feeling when you had it before even having it.
Where did you start to come to this kind of realization?
After
of this?
making the film. It took me 10 years to make the film. When I made the film, suddenly I start realizing how I got where I am right now. And it was all because of those like imagination, those manifestation, and all those energy things that I didn't believe that much. But trust me, in our business, in film business, you need a very high frequency to operate. You just can't. There's so much stress involved, so much negativity. There's every time your producers comes to you, it doesn't come with good news. It's always a bad news, which you have to like, okay, how are we gonna fix it? How are we gonna do? But if you align your frequency to be higher, because you already know, nobody in your crew knows the end product, but you know because you felt it. So if you be truthful to that feeling you already have, everything will align, and suddenly you say, oh my God. Like right now when I went and I saw the first like film by Ramin Sohrab, it was those feelings that brought me to this place. And yeah, it's just being truthful to the vision you already have in your mind and the feeling.
Have you had it when you've shared your vision with people and people say, Ramin, you're crazy. This is, I can't see this.
Yeah,
Because I've had that.
absolutely.
I've had that. And I'm really grateful to myself. I look back on 18 months ago
Yeah,
when I started this podcast journey, and I
nice.
told some people, oh, I'm going to do this. And they went, what?
Yeah,
No one's going to listen to that. No one's
Yeah.
going to watch that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
yeah,
I could have stopped at that moment
Yeah.
if I'd have listened to those voices, but I chose not to. How do we push forward when maybe people of influence in our lives give us
yeah.
negative feedback on our ideas?
I would say, like, I don't know the percentage, I don't have any clue of that, but I know most people's based on their tomorrow for what they experienced yesterday, last year, 10 years ago. So we are kind of living in this like a loop of no, it's not going to work. Everybody has done it. You are crazy, because it's something based on past. But who knows what future brings in? That's when your feeling, manifestation, that God, that voice that tells you you have to do the podcast, it was meant for you, not the people around you who say you can't do it. So if you heard that, it means it's something in future, something new that nobody has done it, so they are living in the past while you are trying to get to the better future. So in a way, it's not, for me, it's not their job to believe in things that you believe, because otherwise I would have never done this movie. I'm the only Iranian who went to Iran and did the first action movie ever with Finland. Everybody thought I was crazy. In a point that I was having COVID, because we started and ended shooting like 5 times. My leg broke, our cast changed, they got pregnant, I got COVID, our visas were denied, there was no financing, all of that. I had so many reasons to just say this will not work. But the secret, I think the secret sauce is once you feel it, once you, the message was for you. Nobody else got the message, go to Iran and make this film. Nobody. Like there's 100 millions of Persians around the world, 5 million Finnish people, and so many filmmakers. And I got that feeling. So if I'm not truthful to whatever is put in me, either it has come from me or somewhere else, if I'm not truthful for that, we are kind of missing the point of life. Even they asked Arnold Schwarzenegger, they always told him like, you can do it. He said, good, because then I would be the first one who do it. I would love to create something newer for the future, not based on what has happened in the past, because to me, anything that happened to past doesn't exist. This moment exists, and whatever I want from the future, I feel it here. And suddenly I'm there, I'm here, you're there, you're having your podcast, I am having my movie. And all of this happened because we listen to that inner voice which guides us when nobody else does.
Do you have any idea where that voice comes from? I know that Prince used to say, when his ideas came to him, if he didn't record his music as soon as the idea came to him, someone else would.
Yeah.
He would often phone his manager and say, I need to get into the studio because Michael Jackson will record this song if I don't.
Yeah.
He believed it was on some kind of wavelength, the ideas, and that maybe actually multiple people have the ideas,
Yeah.
but it's the ones that do something with it
Yeah.
that move forward.
Absolutely. If you get that feeling, if you get that vision or whatever you want to call it, and I believe that vision or whatever frequency it is you're experiencing in that moment, it will come when you strip everything out, everything, like your friends, business, your problems, your good news, this chair, this pot, everything. When you strip everything out, then you get to hear the voice that will guide you through this crazy world. Because I cannot live with the stuff and negativity or even positive, everything around me. I cannot live before stripping everything out, seeing what is it in me, what do I want, because this is just crazy that the frequency, for example, for authenticity is the highest frequency. And how do you get there is by stripping everything away. Otherwise, if I would listen to somebody who said, don't go to Iran to make this film, so then I'm still there's so many layers before me getting to that core me. What do I want? What is my authentic desire? And at that moment, 10 years ago, it was to be the very first man who had the courage to go to Iran and give them a genre they haven't seen in many, many decades. And when I listen to that voice and you align your frequency with that vision you have, anything can come on your way and you will just not give up. But if you don't take these layers out, you will always battle with yourself. Like, should I do it? Should I not? Should I do it? Should I not? Because there's still so many levels there. So you just need to strip everything out. And once you get to that core you will get so much inspiration. You will get so much, like, your imagination and everything. Yeah, you start feeling things that normally you don't. And I don't blame it. There's so much distraction around us. How could you get to your inner voice or gut feeling when there's so much happening around you?
It's very difficult for a lot of us, isn't it?
Yes.
To pursue the thing that the inner voice is telling us to do.
Absolutely.
The thing that we truly want. Yeah, there's other issues come up, and I guess sometimes we have to make a choice.
Yeah.
What's more important for us in that moment? Do we pursue the creative thing, or do we deal with the perhaps the problem that we've got in life?
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes you have to deal with that problem in order to pursue the other thing at another stage.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I feel like as long as you always try to see what people want or what they want to see or the main question is this: what do you want in order to feel good? Not what other want to make you feel good. Because ultimately, my journey, when I said I wanted to make the film for 10 years, okay, I was making the film, but I wasn't happy. I was still in that, I need to make this, I need to be done. When I realized I needed to make this film for myself, to understand me better, to respect me better, then all the voices, the negativity, or oh, we don't like your movie, oh, we like your movie, none of that matters. I fulfilled that inner voice that talked to me 10 years ago. And when you get that feeling done, oh, then the window open, then everything opens up for you. Because if you can feel it, if you can have that inner voice in you, then anything is possible. And I know it's crazy and everybody with these motivational things, but it's true because I did it. I know, and I can speak for myself. So it's very important to just strip out all the distraction around you, just go inside yourself. And nowadays with all these meditation techniques and everything, it's so easy. Or you can even create your own meditation technique, which I had to do in Iran. There was so much negativity going around this film that I wanted to be that high frequency, passionate filmmaker that inspired others.
I guess you have to protect your vision, don't you? You have to, like you say, there are distractions. And if you feel like you have a purpose and an idea, you have to protect it. And maybe that might be, so for me, there was a point in my life where I was over-consuming the news. And I was looking on Twitter every day at the news, got the Sky News app, the BBC app, every single day. I wasn't achieving anything in my life at that point because I was just absorbing the whole entire world constantly.
Yeah.
Whereas now, I don't have the news on my phone anymore.
Nice.
There's no news apps on there. If I want to find out something about the world, I'll go seek it.
Yes.
Rather than it be fed to me.
Yeah.
And that's the way that I protect myself. Yes, there are really terrible things going on in the world, but I can't, unfortunately, have any effect over those
Yeah.
bad things.
Yeah.
So therefore, why should I allow that to consume me? Why should I allow that to stop my vision?
I think that's the, for me at least, that's the essence of like manifesting or dreaming or inner voice or all of that. Once you stop letting outside world affect your mood or your vision or whatever, and you go in and from within in change the outcome, like just it's just switching. Because a lot of people, they live by what happens outside and they react to it. What if you change that? What if you manifest or have the gut feeling or thought of what you want to achieve and then react to that? Why do I have to react to somebody who says don't do this when I can go in and I can vision what I want to do and let the universe align itself with what I created inside? Because then wouldn't it be that we are always victim of what is happening around us rather than inside of us? A lot of the depression and all of that, because I went through it in the layers of lies, happened because I let others determine how I feel of the vision I had. It wasn't their vision to make this film. It was
And
my vision.
even once you start to have a feeling of understanding of this, things can still come up and challenge you.
Of course.
And things can still be difficult.
Yes.
It's not like a secret to living the most blissful, perfect life.
No.
And you'll get moments where you kind of forget. But I guess once you start to understand what we're talking about here, things do feel a little bit more okay, don't they, when you come back to it?
Yes, because here's the thing. You can always go back to yourself. You can always watch yourself. Even when people fight, this is my opinion, this is not advice or anything. Even when people fight, it's rarely about the other person. It's about you dealing with your things that it's not his or her responsibility. It's you. But people are afraid to go inside. And to be honest, the inside place is the most beautiful place because you can feel free, you can feel loved, you can feel the energies, vibrations, goosebumps, all of that. But why do you choose to listen outside world when you have this immense power inside you to create whatever you want? And it's so easy to get there. If I get irritated or I wanted something and I don't get it, rather me reacting to it negatively or letting it ruin my whole day, what if I go in and from that bad news create something more positive? Everything that happened to me in this film, bad or good, ultimately gave me the best version what I could do with those circumstances. So why wouldn't you take that chance? Why wouldn't you, if somebody says, hey, this mall is closed, go to this one. Maybe you're supposed to go to that one. It's not a bad news. It's the way I react to it. If somebody cuts me in the middle of the coffee line, instead of me reacting to it, to my ego and what is it, and start doing, what if I take it in a positive way? And that was my technique to deal with all the negativity that was going around while making the film. So it's always going back to yourself.
How do we deal with people, though, that are so consumed with the negative? When they when they are a part of your life or a part of your creative project, how do you deal with them?
So here's the thing. So for example, in Iran, I met a lot of people who had that. They were so negative and their vibration was so low and all of that. Here's the thing. Authentic frequency always wins. If somebody comes with me negatively, instead of me trying to convince him you're wrong, that's not the way, what if I find what is his, what is lacking in his life, and I tell him, I understand you and I appreciate you. If you don't want to do this, I understand. Thank you. How can you fight with that when my frequency is so authentic and not fake? When your vibration is low and somebody else is negative, it's just jumbo bumbo. But you can control it. And people don't understand, especially filmmakers need to understand this. If you want something from somebody, you have to look inward in order to get them to do whatever you want them to do. And this is not manipulating or anything like that. You are raising their vibration. If somebody comes and says, we cannot do this, instead of you say, no, you have to do it, this is it, and da, 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 suddenly you have this heated argument, instead of like, we cannot do this. Okay, if you think we can, but I believe in you, and if you want to do this, we do. And if we don't, we'll come up with another thing. We're in this together. And can he again, and I promise you, he will go, let me try one more time. Because you come from that vibration where you want to lift people up, not bring them down. Nobody wants to be bullied down.
Well, I've found personally that life gets better when it becomes about others. I lived for a long time. It's very difficult being an actor, and you have to, when you're young, you feel like you have to put yourself out there in the world. You have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
You have to go to auditions, and that can be very consuming.
Yeah.
And it can build a ego, and to a place where it becomes it's all about me, because that's what I feel like the industry wants to hear. But when I let go of that, and said, this is not about me.
Yeah.
This is about others now.
Yeah.
Everything that I tried so hard to make work before started happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Why are you trying to hold of all of this when only what it takes is you letting go and trust the process, trust the universe, or whatever you want to believe in. I don't want to name it, but I just want to tell you, the more you try to hold, control, and convince others, you will lose them. And it's going to be hard for you to inspire people. So I would just, this is only me. When every time I wanted something from somebody to do, I encouraged them, but not faking it, being authentic, believing in that person. I believe you can do it. And if you can't, it's fine. It's okay. It's not end of the world. So when you operate in that frequency, it's hard for people to fight you. And I told in Iran many times, my producers sometimes said, this actor is not coming. You say, he's not going to do it with this payment. I say, bring him into the room. Instead of me trying to convince him, I understood him and I raised his vibration. I was talking about the future, a better future, and I gave him that like, okay, this. And when you inspire people, they want to work with you because they like that feeling. Who wouldn't like to be inspired rather than to know you're this, you're that? So I think that's just being authentic, honestly. I think.
And there's a lot of consumption within the movie industry about money.
Yeah.
Talk about money. I want this pay, that pay, rather than considering the greater purpose of what this production, this film, this theatre production, whatever it is, can offer.
Yeah, and that's actually usually for indie filmmakers. I think the money aspect. In the early phases, when you talk about money with somebody, you know how they react to it, and that's how you can find people who are in it for a bigger purpose than just getting a buck, if you know what I mean. So for example, my cinematographer, I knew money wasn't important for him. I knew the fact that he gets to be the first Middle Eastern, first in the Middle East shooting this action movie was the like. He just saw the bigger future. And look at him now. He's in Dubai shooting every month, movies after commercial. And all of that started by him not thinking of that money, little money he's going to get from this project, but thinking bigger. And ultimately, if you want to be a filmmaker, don't think about the project you are doing now or next. Think about the next 5 projects. Think, where do you want to go? Get that feeling, get that emotion running, and trust me, your body will follow. Doesn't have no choice. Unfortunately, a lot of people, the mind follows their body instead of their body following their mind. And if you can master your mind, imagine the possibilities.
Yeah. So what do you hope for this film at the moment?
So
what are your hopes for it?
My hopes is that it opens doors for me, which I can then be like, people can see me as a filmmaker, as a director, as somebody who did something that was nearly impossible, and just opening me new possibilities to do more films, to do more projects, and work with people. And honestly, I really would love to be a spokesperson for indie filmmakers and explain them the whole process that mentally, if you can train yourself, you can achieve a lot more than with any budget or money or film. It all comes back to you. So if you can train yourself mentally to envision or have this inner voice, then you're good. Then it's just matter of time. And there's no set time. There's no. I thought for many years that once I do this movie, then it's done. No, it's just the beginning. It's just the start. So I feel that this movie, which it has already, opened up doors that I can develop project. I'm now developing a project in US, which would be the US version of the same movie. So we're developing that one. We are developing a Finnish American action comedy, and we are also developing, hopefully, a UK Iranian action comedy. So
See, I get the feeling from you as well, there's more than just a hope and dream for making movies.
yes,
Tell me about that.
yeah. So basically, just making movies for me is just tool for me to get voice where I can basically, I would say guide, I don't know, guide or whatever you want to call it, but give people tools. Because tools are not just money and camera and light and stuff. You can have all the tools you need in your mind. But in order to do that, I almost died in making this film, Layers of Lies. And I think after 10 years, the values I learned, I just want to share them. But I cannot just share without making a couple of them myself. For them to see, oh, okay, so you did these, and the way you did this was because you had this mindset. So basically teaching about, I would say, filmmaking mindset. You need a mindset to make a movies, and the better mindset you have, better movies you have, and the better you know yourself, people want to work with you. People want to work with people who know what they want. And that was exactly my place. I went to Iran. People thought I'm a big Hollywood director. They didn't even know this is my first movie. But because I was so confident, I built up that mentality in my mind, then that was the only tool that got me through. Because money can stop at any moment. Equipments can break at any moment. The only thing that never fails or never gives us or never tells you to stop is your mind. Yeah. So I think teaching filmmakers like the
Yes,
mindset,
and I can
that.
see that as a future
Yeah.
for you. I can definitely,
would be great.
everything you're saying is definitely resonating with me, and I very much appreciate you
Thank you.
sharing.
Absolutely.
I look
Absolutely.
forward to seeing the movie as well.
Absolutely. That would be great.
Yeah, I will be watching the movie at some
And
point.
I'm so happy they put the picture of the movie on the first page.
Oh, wonderful! So if
Yeah.
anyone does want to seek out the movie, is it just doing the festivals at the moment,
At the
is
moment,
there...
we have it in all the US big platforms, in Scandinavia. I feel later this summer it will come to other cities in Europe and then rest of the world. And at the moment, it's playing in the cinemas in Iran, so people in Iran can go watch it. But little by little, it will come out, and hopefully people get to see it.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
And we'll follow you on social media
Yes,
as well.
social
I'll put all that in
media,
the comments.
Ramin Sohrab, and there I am. Please come say hi, and I love talking with people.
Wonderful, thank you.
Absolutely.
One last question.
Yes.
If you was to hypothetically go back in time, speak to Ramin 10 years ago when you started out this filmmaking journey, what advice would you give to yourself moving forward?
I would say nothing outside you can determine your feeling or your way of life. And for the many years, I always did what others told me while I was supposed to listen to myself and my gut feeling. And so trusting yourself would be the biggest thing I would say. Like if 10 years ago, instead of me trying to seek validation and approval and all these things outside of me, if I would have put that energy inside of me, the universe would have aligned it much faster. Which I'm not complaining about it, because this journey made me the man I am today, to not let anyone outside of me determine how do I feel. My feelings are mine, my visions are mine, and as long as I'm truthful for them, people love to work with you.
I wonder if everything happens at the right time.
Absolutely. There's no coincidence, for me at least, there's no coincidence. Everything happens to exact timing that it should happen. And the layers of lies, I hope you people, everybody could watch it. In the end, we have behind the scenes, just the amount of problems and stress and everything. And now that I can happily watch the movie and be happy, I know for a fact everything happens with its own timeline.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
This has been wonderful. I really appreciate this.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you sharing.
Absolutely.
If anyone has been watching or listening, we appreciate you joining us for this conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
so
Ramin.
much. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.